On Halloween night in 2020, the line between life and death blurred forever in Hemp Hill, Texas. A bright 19-year-old woman, Livye Lewis, was found lifeless, draped over her steering wheel, killed by a rifle shot to the neck. Welcome to True Crime Chronicles, where we uncover the chilling cases. This was no random tragedy. It was the culmination of a twisted, volatile relationship and a web of betrayal, jealousy, and violence.
Will y'all tell me something? Well, where's my kid? Where is she at? She's alive? Huh?
Come here.
She's not alive. I want to see my child.
Today we uncover the haunting story of Livye Lewis, a life full of promise, a death that shook a small town, and a quest for justice that would drag on for years. Hemp Hill is the kind of place where life moves slowly, a quiet town of just over 1,000 residents. Everyone knows everyone, and secrets rarely stay hidden. But what happened to Livye Lewis that Halloween morning was a shock no one could have predicted. Livvy's mother, Darcy Bass, heard the devastating news not from law enforcement, but through a friend's frantic phone call. Her daughter, her light, was gone, murdered in cold blood. Who was Livye Lewis? She wasn't just another teenager. Livye was a straight-A student, a recent high school graduate with big dreams. At just 19, she was already a certified nursing assistant, working at a local nursing home. Her friends described her as mature, focused, and kind-hearted, someone who always seemed older than her years. One of her closest friends, Taylor Barnett, a fellow nursing assistant, said Livye blended seamlessly into her life despite their 6-year age gap. She just fit right in, Taylor recalled. Bailey Williams, Livvy's childhood friend, echoed that sentiment, describing her as someone who always sought stability, a grounded soul eager to grow up and carve out her future. But then Livye met Matthew Edgar. Matthew was 23 when their paths crossed, and Livye was still in high school. Their relationship began in secret. Matthew was married at the time, with 2 young sons and a wife, Montana Bokel. Phone records revealed how it started. A flirtatious text from Matthew in November 2019, warning Livye not to tell anyone they were even texting. Livvy's response? Witty, yet guarded. Obviously, I'm not going to brag about texting a married man, but thanks for the clarification. It wasn't long before Livye realized the affair was a mistake. She ended it quickly and firmly, but Matthew wasn't ready to let go. Months later, he returned to her life, complaining about his marriage and his unhappiness. Livye stood her ground, saying she didn't want to be a homewrecker. But in the spring of 2020, Matthew's marriage ended. He moved out and circled back to Livye, dragging her into a relationship far more complicated than she'd imagined. By the summer of 2020, Livye had moved in with Matthew. She helped care for his sons and even redecorated their room, trying to create a sense of normalcy.
I went to baseball, went to football, went to soccer ball, whatever.
But cracks quickly began to show. Taylor Barnett recalled that Matthew's behavior was alarming. He drank heavily, and his anger often spiraled into abusive outbursts. Text messages between Livye and her cousin painted a grim picture of their relationship. In one chilling message, Livye admitted she was scared of Matthew. She even sent a photo of herself with visible injuries, a silent cry for help. And then there was Montana, Matthew's ex-wife. Jealousy simmered between the two women, yet strangely, they maintained a friendship. Montana described Livye as her best friend, even though Livye had taken her place in Matthew's life. But the peace was an illusion. Behind closed doors, Matthew was still involved with Montana, creating a toxic web of lies and betrayal. When Livye discovered the affair, she ended things with Matthew. Halloween 2020 should have been a night of fun, but for Livye, it turned into a nightmare. She attended a party at Bobby Ozen's house where Matthew was also present. Witnesses say Matthew spent the night drinking heavily and watching Livye from a distance, his jealousy simmering. As the party wound down, tensions boiled over. Bobby Ozen later told investigators that Matthew erupted in anger, screaming threats and kicking car doors. His chilling words echoed in the night. "I'll kill you all." Livye and Montana left the party separately, both trying to escape Matthew's wrath. Montana claimed she drove to Matthew's mother's house, but Matthew was relentless. Text messages revealed his state of mind. "I will take your life, her life, and his life. Mark my words." Minutes later, another text. I'm leaving. Better get here and get your kids. By the time the sun rose on Halloween morning, Livye Lewis was dead. Matthew claimed he had no memory of the night, waking up in a hospital bed with no recollection of how he got there. Investigators, however, pieced together a damning timeline. Evidence showed Matthew had driven drunk, armed with a rifle, and hunted Livye down. Her keys and phone were found in his possession. Suspicion briefly fell on Montana after she failed a polygraph test, but further investigation cleared her of any involvement. All signs pointed to one man, Matthew Edgar. The COVID-19 pandemic slowed the wheels of justice. In February 2021, Matthew was released from custody, infuriating Livye's family. Darcy Bass, desperate for answers, confronted him in public, leading to her own brief arrest. Months later, a grand jury indicted Matthew for murder. His trial began in January 2022, but in a shocking twist, Matthew fled mid-trial, taking a gun with him. Despite his absence, the trial continued, and he was found guilty of Livye's murder. For months, Matthew remained on the run, a convicted murderer evading capture. Rumors swirled that he was hiding near his grandparents' property, just yards from the crime scene. In January 2023, law enforcement closed in. After weeks of surveillance, they found him, a man once again cornered by his own actions.
Come on with your hands up!
This time there was no escape. Matthew Edgar was formally sentenced for the murder of Livye Lewis. At the site where Livye was killed, a small memorial now stands. Her mother, Darcy, lovingly tends to it, a tribute to a life full of promise, stolen too soon. Livye's story serves as a grim reminder of the dangers of toxic relationships and the devastating consequences of unchecked violence. Justice may have been delayed, but her memory endures, a beacon of hope and resilience for those left behind. Subscribe for more gripping stories.